Hello, my name is Adrian Grant, and I'm a researcher from the University of Ulster in Northern Ireland. And I want to talk to you today a little bit about the idea of storytelling in post conflict societies and how we can use technology to increase its impact. So, what is a story? Well, a story is really any articulation of thoughts, but in this context, I'm talking about stories of post conflict societies, people's experiences of conflict, and how we can use those experiences to deal with the legacy of the past. So, why do people tell their stories? There's a certain therapeutic aspect to storytelling, to relating your experiences of the past, of conflict. Um, Most people, it's human nature, really want their stories to be passed on to future generations so they can learn from their experiences. Dealing with the past is an issue that's quite current in Northern Ireland at the moment. How do you address the legacy of a conflict? And how do you move forward towards a more peaceful future without addressing the legacy of the conflict? So there are some issues locally with addressing the past and addressing the legacy of the Northern Ireland conflict. Mainly, there are a lot of atrocities that have occurred in the past that people want to know more about. And there are also unsolved murders and things like that where people want to know exactly what happened. So some of the solutions for dealing with the past internationally have been things like truth commissions and the amnesties that normally go along with those. Something like the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission doesn't seem to be something that will take hold in Northern Ireland. There is a certain amount of willingness or unwillingness to allow amnesties to take place, and a feeling that those people who may have contributed to violence in the past should be held accountable. Another more formal process of truth recovery, the idea of official government inquiries, has been tried in Northern Ireland quite successfully with the Bloody Sunday inquiry. Bloody Sunday was an event in Derry in 1972 where British Army opened fire on a civil rights march. The findings of the inquiry found that the civilians were unlawfully killed, and its findings were quite well accepted. Criticisms of this type of dealing with the past mechanism include the costs that were involved, the time it took to get to that stage, and the idea that a hierarchy of victims was being created. Who gets an inquiry, who doesn't? So storytelling is a more of an informal process that is taking place a little bit under the radar in Northern Ireland. Community workers going out into their communities, recording the experiences of their compatriots. As I mentioned, there's a certain therapeutic benefit to talking about your experience of conflict, and there's also a societal benefit where people will listen to your story and somehow maybe walk in your shoes, even if it's only for 5 minutes. So how can technology be applied to this process of storytelling? The people who are collecting these stories have been using technology for quite some time. They're using digital audio recording equipment, digital video recording equipment. They've been PDFing transcripts of their interviews with people for quite some time. What we want to do at the University of Ulster in our Accounts of the Conflict project is to bring all these stories together in a digital archive that will be preserved into the future and made accessible on the internet. So by bringing all these different voices together, we can have, for example, the voices of paramilitary members, voices of state forces, the voices of victims, and the voices of people who were maybe somehow affected by the conflict in even a minor way. And these will all be available in the one place. So it'll be a digital archive of stories of the conflict that is preserved into the future, secure, and openly accessible in a variety of formats. So basically anyone with an internet connection will be able to listen to stories of the conflict and appreciate the various different perspectives that exist, and the various different ways that people view the past in Northern Ireland. So the process of storytelling together with the application of technology can heighten the impact of an idea like storytelling in dealing with the past in Northern Ireland. And we hope to bring this project to fruition at the end of 2014 and continue into the future with an automatic deposit system where people will be able to upload their stories to our website. And we hope to have a very wide variety of accounts of the conflict. So this is a little bit of contact information, our website. You can follow us on Twitter @NCoreInfo and use the hashtag AccountsNI. Thank you very much.